so nice to have this time to come together after a semester of teaching the entrepreneurial mindset curriculum. So I just wanted to reflect and share some thoughts and ideas of how it happened, give you a little information about how I started. David and I were actually the pioneers, right?
Yep.
We were there was 3 of us. We were the first ones to go through the training, and it all started with a phone call from Dr. Weems. She reached out and just said, hey, I have an opportunity. Would you be interested? I'm like, sure. Had no idea what we were signing up for. Sounded great, right? It sounded like something that would bring value to our students. We have advisory boards, and our industry leaders on these advisory boards, you know, they tell us that this is what they're looking for from these students. So we thought, yeah, we'll sign up and do it. So we went through the training. And since then, we have actually trained 27 facilitators. So it has grown, and it is continually growing, which is exciting. And that's basically how I started out getting involved with the EET. And this curriculum has been great for our students. It's empowering, brings value. Yeah, but enough said about that. I want to give some of y'all an opportunity too to share, you know, what you've experienced and some of your reflections. So who would like to go first?
I'll do a quick introduction. So as Dee mentioned, I was in the first cohort for the facilitator training. And same thing, an email went out and said, hey, we have this opportunity, who would like to participate? And I've always been interested in small business and entrepreneurial minded and things like that. So I said, that sounds kind of cool. You know, I'd like to participate. So I did, and we went through the first, it was four weeks. The meetings were about 2 hours per meeting, once a week for 4 weeks, plus a few hours a week of additional work that we had to put in, and it was awesome. So, and I guess I should have backed up where I'm over at the ATC in the machining program at the College of Workforce. So that's essentially how we've integrated it into our program, is we spread it out over the course of 2 semesters to deliver the content to the students.
Yeah, similar. Well, I got a message one day that, hey, you're teaching Introduction to Business. Yes, so guess what? We want you to incorporate the Entrepreneurial Mindset Initiative into your course. And I was like, well, actually, this is going to be a great opportunity because our students need to get both sides of the coin, per se. Not only how to run a business, but also how to start your own business and be vibrant in your own business. So when the opportunity came to me, I'm in the School of Business, the Bachelor of Applied Science program. I thought it was a perfect fit, that we definitely need our students to become a part of this initiative so that they know what is out there for them and they have options, you know, and greater opportunities.
And that leads me to, this curriculum is universal. That's what's so great about it. Doesn't matter what discipline that you're teaching in, the curriculum can go into any classroom, and it benefits, it has value, and it's empowering. So
Very.
Yeah.
It is. I'm in the photography department, and it just fits so well. It was obvious that this is something that we needed to embrace. And yeah, it's really exciting because the students already have this entrepreneurial mindset, and they in art photography, and they go on to start businesses, and most of them do, and so they already kind of have that, and then this is just so helpful for them. So it really fit well into the photography department.
Yeah, and then I didn't get a call. I actually called Dr. Weems. We were in I think you all did a fall planning session on entrepreneurship, and I went on it, and as soon as I started hearing about what was happening in the program, I was texting Dr. Weems saying, you know, how do I get involved? Because our students desperately, I'm in digital interactive media production program, and we needed to be able to, it was a great way to be able to put that into our program, which, like Gianti had mentioned, and rest of you, is our students really needed that. And you mentioned it being like, doesn't matter if you're in a business, it fits all different parts. And you also mentioned advisory boards, and our advisory board had also said, we need students that have this mindset. The skills are really good, but the mindset is what they really wanted. And so the program that made it really easy to integrate into our curriculum. We did the same thing. We divided it over 3 semesters. So we have the 8 modules, and we put 3 in one course, 2 in another course, and then 3 in another course afterwards. And the students love it. And we already had one student, Jason, who was at the Falcon Talks, and he just started integrating it into his curriculum, and it was really fantastic.
Yeah, and that has been so nice because, at first you think, and I'm just going to tell you some feedback because I was one of the first ones that stepped forward and agreed. It got me the job of lead faculty. So with that title, now I'm in charge of helping you, integrate this curriculum into your course shells and everything, which has been nice and everything. So with that being said, everybody's like, at first we struggled. We're not going to sit here and tell you oh, it was easy and we did all this, but we kind of laid the groundwork and we found out, because at first we struggled. It happened so fast. We went through the training. We didn't have access to the curriculum at first, so we had to kind of
we had to
improvise.
A little bit.
Improvise. We had speakers coming in. So we figured out what works, what didn't work, and then it became easier, as we started doing this curriculum. And I'll tell you, some of the faculty, after they go through the training, they come to me and they're like, I don't know where this is going to fit in. How do I do this? So I sit with them. You can put it in here, you can do this. And that really helps because I don't know how y'all felt, but when I first got through with the training, I was excited, I was pumped, the training is fabulous, and then all of a sudden I thought, okay, now what do I do with this? What do I do with this? Where do I go with this? And, in faculty will say, I talk to my students and they don't want extra work. This is what faculty will say to me. And I'm like, well, you'll be surprised because our first cohort did it for no grades. They were enrolled into a separate course shell, and they did 40 extra hours of work.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
And they wanted more. The ones who completed
Right.
it, they wanted more because they saw the value in
Right.
it. I even had someone on the college come up to me and said, I don't know what you're teaching over there, but they all think they're entrepreneurs. And I said, they are, they're getting this mindset, And I think in the long run, I know it's going to help with job placement,
Yes.
when it comes time for assessments with retention, because students do not mind all of this extra work because they see the value in it. They know they need this. I always say it's what's going to set them apart when they go out into the workforce, when they're out there in the industry. It's going to set them apart
Definitely.
from all of their other, coworkers. So.
Definitely.
But I have noticed that. Has anyone else had any revelations? Or
Actually, it's funny you mentioned that. When we first were getting kicked off, we had to improvise a little bit, and of course, some of the students we had to drag into it, kicking and screaming. But once we got going, they really did embrace the material. And in fact, before we had materials to hand out and books to hand out, there were students that were actually going out and purchasing the Ice House book on their own because they were so impressed with the material. So that was, we you start dragging them in,
Right.
and then as some of us have been talking about, they can't get enough of the
Right,
content.
they can't get enough. I had mentioned earlier that I had about 2/3 of my students that were interested in becoming entrepreneurs at the beginning of the term, but by the time I was done with the curriculum, all but one student was like, where do I get more information? Give me more. They were thirsting after this entrepreneurial mindset. They were like, you mean I can actually be a part of something that I believe in, that I started, that is all about me, and I have a passion for, and I have a purpose. One of the projects that we do with the curriculum is I have them present their business to the entire class, and it's based on those 8 fundamental principles. And when I tell you, I'm impressed to where it's a running joke in my class that if I ever see any of these businesses out there, I get 10% as their professor. I don't know how DSC policy is, but I'm getting 10%. So they all say to me, oh yeah, she gets 10% and she gets 10. I'm like, this is amazing, you all. And that's what we want. We want to change or shift their minds to know how powerful they can be with this. And it's not just about a business, as you mentioned earlier. Any curriculum you can think of, any type of course you can think of, these students now are thinking, how can I be more powerful in this world? How can I be more productive? And how can I be a more viable citizen based on these 8 principles? And you think about it, it's simple to most, but for students, for our learners, they're eating this up like a sponge. They're like, oh wow, I didn't know this was in me. And I think it's great. It's such a powerful tool that they have now.
Well, and as an instructor and leading the digital interactive, I was a little bit apprehensive about like adding more responsibility on to myself. And then I remember asking Dee, because I was in some of these meetings, I'm like, what do I really have to do here? And she said, no, we've made it all, we've gone through the hard part, we made it really easy for you, it's super valuable. And I'm like, I'm trusting you, but I don't want to have to do all this extra stuff. And it really wasn't, you made it really easy.
Yeah.
The training was fantastic. And then when we were done, we had the support of yourself and all the other people that were involved in the EMO mindset. And then that course shell made it super easy. And I could just take and, it took me, a couple days just to take those parts and integrate it into my course shell and then add them in. So it was really easy. And like you said, the students really eat it up.
Yes.
And it makes it easy for them to be able to get those bite-sized information and read it. It's not about, because when I heard it, the entrepreneurship, I thought, it's about, what is my business plan? What do I have to do to make a business? And it wasn't about that. It was about this, exactly what you talked about. How do you solve a problem? How do you, move to that positive light of, making things happen? And they love it, And a lot of our students come in, they've been kind of discouraged through high school, and, they may not feel as confident. And this gives them that, the tools that they need to do to be confident, which is great.
Yeah, I think once the students understood, like you just mentioned, once they understood it wasn't about a business plan and spreadsheets and bank loans. Right. It starts with answering other questions, like going through the opportunity canvas and problem solving. And hey, is there even a need for the idea that we want? And it was really neat to see the students. We would start out with the opportunity canvas, and again, some of them. Kind of, okay, you get some eye rolls, and then we'd start going through, and they would start generating these ideas, and then all of a sudden you would see the spark, they would get excited about it, and we experienced the same thing. There were some students that had some just phenomenal ideas, and I think they were shocking themselves. Right. So it was really neat.
That's what was exciting for us in our department. We had these students with these great ideas, but they didn't know how to implement those ideas. And that's what this curriculum did. It empowered them. And we brought in the Small Business Development Center here at Daytona State, because we all know what great resources we have right here at the college. And they came up with how to raise capital, for those that, did want to start their own business. And so that was great. Yes. The other thing is, it gave them the critical thinking skills, so that when they go out into the industry and they get these careers and these jobs, they can problem solve. Instead of seeing a problem, they see an opportunity because of that discovery canvas, and then they know how to solve that, and that is valuable. I owned a business for 15 years. Those were my favorite employees. They didn't see a problem, they saw an opportunity, a way to fix something to make my business run better. And that, I get goosebumps, like when that clicks and you can see it, it's exciting in the classroom, and that's what I liked about it. That was, empowering for me, because it's nice when we do all this, but reason you're an educator and a teacher is because when they get excited, you're excited, and makes me a better teacher when they're excited about something. I want to give them more, and that is exciting for me when they want more and they're hungry for it. So.
Yeah, I also love that we had the opportunity to bring in speakers. That speakers were brought in for us even, and the students just ate that up. They just loved hearing from people in the industry, and the people that came in were already embracing that entrepreneurial mindset. and the students could see it in action and just really connect with the people. We just had the best speakers come in, and the students just loved it. So,
Yeah, the speakers, I'm glad you brought that. The speakers are so valuable because we get up every day and
Right.
tell them what
Right.
they need, but these speakers come in and say the exact same things that we do, and
You're
it's
right.
like, wow.
Absolutely.
Ooh, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so,
Yes.
and I love all the speakers that we have access to,
Yeah.
and that has made it very nice because, and these are, real life people in the industry doing what these students want to do, and you do see them come to, I mean, we would have, the classroom would be packed the day
Yep.
that we had, the speakers coming in, because nobody misses that day,
Right.
because, that's information they want to get. So I've enjoyed every speaker that we've had, and everybody's had exciting speakers coming in. That has been a nice addition, I think, to what we do in the classroom. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had speakers before, but having someone that I can just say like, hey, I would need a speaker on this topic and that topic, and then I can just go back to work.
Right.
And
You're
they
right.
say, here's a couple people, what do you think? And then we schedule it all, and they bring them in. And we had one, the audio person, he's on our advisory board now because he did a fantastic
Oh, wow.
job. And we said, will you please be on our advisory board? And he said, yeah. And I didn't even know he existed in the area
Right.
here, which was really
Yeah.
the connections that they have. So the support is fantastic.
Yes, the support. As an instructor, it's the resources for us.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost like, oh, you're going to give me all of this,
Yeah.
and all I have to do is just tweak a few lessons here and there. Oh, sure, bring it on. You know, so it was wonderful.
It really has evolved into, I don't want to make it as easy
Right.
to sound as plug and play, but it's pretty close
Yeah, it
to
is.
plug and play. So to integrate it into the course shells.
And it's so many innovative ideas and examples. Like even when we all get together and we start sharing like what we've done, it's like, oh, I may try that. So
Yes,
I'm like, this is
that has been great
Yeah.
for the faculty. It's because we do feed off of each other.
Yep.
Like, I'll hear something that, that y'all have done at Workforce, and then we'll start doing that. And it's also helped with how we've grown this, like with ideas that faculty have come up
Yeah.
with, and that has helped to grow this into, even, a bigger project than what it started out. It started out with, we're going to train a couple of people, and, and now, I mean, it's all consuming at times. So our group is growing, and we're welcoming more facilitators. We have room for more. It's been great networking with everyone across the college. Watching this, grow has been exciting. And like you said, it's plug and play. We have the master course shell where you can just roll these components, these modules right into your course. It's easy. The students, they get an extra certification when they complete all the modules, and that's a plus, a resume builder. But like I said, there's room for more. There's room for us to grow, and that's exciting because I want to see this curriculum. My goal is that this curriculum is across the entire college, in every discipline, and that's where I'd like to see it.
It's a great opportunity for personal development as well for the
Yes,
facilitators. I was excited about going into it anyways, but after completing it and as we were going through it, it was a lot more rewarding than I thought it would be. And something you mentioned earlier, Dee, about how this curriculum could be applied across all, like a bunch of different, anywhere from grade school up through MBA programs, and that's as we were going through the facilitating, the training, the course, it was so motivational, inspirational to see what other people were doing with this. I mean, it was being used all the way from grade school in the prison system, all the way through MBA programs. I mean, so that's incredible, the reach that they do with this material.
Yeah. I think that it should, as you say, it's budding, so it should never end. And there's only room for just continual growth from this, not just from a learner standpoint, but from an instructor standpoint. Like, I want to continue to grow and just keep building on this concept because you can't get enough of it. And the way the world is, it's like, what are you doing to leave that legacy? And you can do so with this mindset of, I can help empower others so that they start thinking progressively, and they think, wow, I can make this world bigger and better. I just can't wait to see where this goes. I've actually asked for the director for my area to say, hey, let's make sure everyone who teaches in the School of Business has incorporated this in some point,
That's really what it's about. It's making the world better. I mean, it sounds
right, no.
so extreme, but it's really about
It's real.
making yourself a better person and making the world better, and just solving problems,
Yeah.
finding things that need to be helped and need to be improved upon, and solving those problems.
Right.
Taking ownership.
Taking ownership.
Absolutely.
Approaching a problem as an owner.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was really helpful to add value to our program. So as soon as we got those logos, I threw them up on our program page, and I use it in marketing. Now here's our program, and we also have this certification, and we've integrated it into our program. So, and you made it so easy to integrate it. Like that plug and play. You had that course shell. It was in our D2L. It was ready to go. And any questions I had, I could ask you, Dee. I could ask anyone else, like, hey, how do I do this? How did you do it? And you came back immediately with something, and you didn't say, oh, you got to do this. You said, hey, this is what I do. Here's what someone else has done. And you were excited about it, which, and then it fed off of me, and I felt excited about it. And it wasn't just, it wasn't any big amount of work. It was very easy to integrate it in. And I use it as a selling point.
Yeah, and we have found that when I give tours for our program and through our department, it's a great recruitment tool. When the parents hear about it,
I can bet.
they get excited. Not only our career pathway, I'm always pushing, for them to further their education, go into the bachelor's program, especially if, their goal one day is to own their own business. We, support that, but then continue in their education. But this has been a huge selling point, and we didn't even think of that when we, when we signed up and said, yeah, we would like to do that. That's been one of the great outcomes, and so we've been excited about that. And while we've been growing, we still have room for more. So this is our invitation to come join us. We have a resource center located in Building 140, Room 102, and I just want to thank everyone today for our conversation. It's been great.